welcome to the Seila podcast. This is a Talkback podcast for the novel The Seila Emergence, now available on roguemata.com. We go in depth behind the scenes with Seila creator James Masha. Get it up for he's in the house. I love his spirit fingers. New installments of the novel and episodes of the podcast are available the same day every month. Join the movement. Go rogue. roguemata.com. Today, James, you and I are talking chapter 4, which a lot happens, and I'm very excited about it. How are you today, though?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. Is that a Woody Woodpecker?
Yes.
Oh my goodness. I haven't seen him in forever.
It's my pecker shirt.
Your pecker shirt?
My pecker shirt.
What does that mean when somebody has a pecker shirt?
Well, it's a pecker shirt.
Is there more than one pecker shirt, or it's just if it's the Woody the Woodpecker?
It's just Woody the Woodpecker. That's
all. Okay. It must be summer for you right now.
It is.
How is it going? What do you do for fun in the summer?
We don't do much. We go traveling. We're going to be traveling. We will be.
Yeah. Where are you going?
Yes. We're going to Florida.
Wow.
Florida in the heat of summer. I know. Great idea.
I know. Are you going to Disney World? Like, where in Florida are you going?
Part of it.
You're going to Disney World?
Of course. And Universal, which is where I got this shirt.
Oh, that's so cool. I have not been to Universal or Disney World since the 90s. What's changed?
I'm going to go with a lot.
Okay. Well, have you been? Is this your first time?
Oh, no, we've been many times.
Okay.
Over the years. So, but a lot has changed. We're taking the kids to, go and see. Well, my daughter will be seeing Disney for the first time, essentially.
Aw, that's exciting. Oh, wait, isn't there a Star Wars land, Galaxy's Edge now that's there?
Yes. Mm-hmm. We'll be going to that. I haven't seen that.
That's exciting. Now, are you guys doing the Fast Pass, or is it called Genie Pass now?
Whatever it is called, we've got it. So I'm going to be waiting on as few lines as possible.
So walk me through that just a little bit. So with the pass, do you have to reserve a lot of things like in advance? Like, how does that work?
You have to reserve them that day.
Oh, okay.
So at 7:00 in the morning, I have to go in on the phone and reserve whatever. Otherwise, especially the Star Wars ride, I won't get.
Oh, that's fascinating.
Unless I want to wait 4 hours to ride it, which I will not do.
You won't. I like Star Wars, not that much.
No.
Oh man, that sounds cosmic and really fun, and also like it must mean that you can't be that spontaneous with Disney then, because you have to plan everything out.
Yeah, all of our we know which park we're going to each day. We know where we're eating each day. It's one of those. Yeah, it's.
Wow. Are you guys going to? Are you going to be our guest?
No, we did that the last time, so we're not going to do that this time. And yeah, I would love to, but got to try different things.
Yeah, no. Are you going to do? I think you can eat and drink around the world. Have you done that yet?
I have not done all of the countries in Epcot yet. No, we will be doing Japan this time, though.
Ooh, fun. Fancy.
Yes.
All right. Well, instead of Japan, let's talk about Russian spies and the 1950s in America instead.
Okay.
You like that segue?
Sounds good.
Yeah, I thought it was all right, but here we go. So I really like where we're heading. Like this is like a high action-packed chapter of chapter 4, because it kind of starts off with literally a bang or two and like a knife through the head.
Yes.
Which is fun. I like kind of seeing the 4 of them, the 4 amigos together. We have Katrina, who's limping. Remind me again, what she got injured in the leg.
Yes, in the interrogation.
Yeah.
Or the torture scene, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, it's kind of off camera though.
Yeah. And then we, she's had a couple of, days, weeks, however long it's been. I can't remember now. Yes, and I wrote it. I know, but it's been, time has passed. She's healed a little bit, and she's limping around. She's not doing too well, but she's hanging in there.
And she's got a crush on Gray.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, spy on spy action. That's what's going on. And then, Captain Rollins and Diana are an interesting pair because it's almost like Diana's kind of crushed his dreams on what he thinks. This is the chapter where like he's really pondering about like, oh, she's from the future. I really want to ask like a bajillion questions. And of course, when she finally opens up, which I'm jumping ahead a little bit, he's kind of crestfallen by the fact that like humanity doesn't really do too well for itself.
No. No, not after not after the alien attack that's still hundreds of years in the future at this point.
Yeah. But we don't really deal with the future in this chapter. Right now we're dealing with like a hit and run in the sense of like the two Russian spies come in, Anton and I think Sergei.
Mm-hmm.
And Sergei gets taken down for the count by Katrina, which I thought it was great that she just shoved that knife through his head. And then Anton gets injured, but ends up tailing them. So they end up, I thought this was clever. Like you have them as a distraction wreck the car, which I've never seen before in any sort of spy / sci-fi thriller as a tactic to kind of trap the bad guy. Where was that inspired by anything?
No.
No.
It was just a way to end the high-speed chase.
I want this over. Let me just wreck this car.
Well, let's wreck the car and then wait for him to come and take a look. And this was before they had airbags, by the way. So
that's like really dangerous at that point.
Yes.
Crazy guys.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also interesting too because I hadn't seen Thomas Paine in a while, and he shows back up in this chapter. But he's spoiler alert, he's dead.
Oh yes.
Oh man, that sucks. Because I was interested. You kind of teased me like he was along the river when. And guys, I know I'm jumping all over the place, but you should be here after you've read the chapter anyway. So, so he's along the river, and a man survives the fall, which I kept forgetting that it was both men and women that they were sending back.
Men and women do get sent back, yes.
Which is interesting because I was like, I guess they need to procreate, so I guess men have to go, even though all the women are pregnant when they go through.
Mm-hmm. So. But, they still, need more than one generation to go.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
That is true indeed. So, yeah. So I was excited for a moment because I thought, oh, we're going to get another guy that's going to get taken by the government and the government's going to, keep him under lock and key. But nope. Yeah. Blew his head off. Thanks.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, fine. I guess Diana can be like Tigger and be the only one. But so the recap is like the four amigos get into a car, they crash it, they finally take out Anton, they steal his car, and they're on the way to an airport so Captain Rollins can, unbeknownst to them, fly it into a wormhole.
Yes.
And then meanwhile, Sheriff Howard, gets questioned by Jackson, who shows up in his house, and he basically brings up a theory that I thought was very interesting, and it's a great conversation starter that is, that's in Men in Black all the time, which is, can humanity handle it? And the government has decided no, they can't handle the truth. So I was curious about your take. Do you think humanity can handle it?
I don't know if it's a matter of handling it or not. I do think that if there was 100% empirical evidence that, or let's just say the U.F.O. lands in the middle of Central Park, where there's no way that somebody could possibly cover it up. The little aliens come out or whatever, and there's no way that anybody could refute that, oh my God, life does exist off of this planet. I think it would just change everything. Whether we could handle it or not, that I can't answer, but it would definitely change everything.
Well, I definitely think it depends on the time and place. So I like that, like in this time period of the 50s, our news sources is kind of streamlined and funneled through certain papers and channels, and the government can easily hide things more than they could today because everyone has a camera
Oh,
basically now. I feel like if you had placed this story in today's timeline, I think there would be nothing that you could cover up at this point.
oh no,
Like,
no, none of this could have been.
yeah, none of this could have happened because then everyone and their mom would be like, all right, if our calculations are, you'd have YouTubers and podcasters being like, hey man, so like, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, but like, we're here to check out the cannon fires to see if there's a way we can like stop these bodies from like dying and stuff like that. So we've all like come together with our Patreon to get these inflatable like balloons that we're going to push out there, and we're going to see if we can question these aliens.
Mm-hmm.
Like that
Something
would
like
be something like that. And then I think everyone and their mom would have a differing opinion about how to handle it, how to go about it, whose authority would it be,
Mm-hmm.
blah blah blah. So it'd be more chaotic in terms of like I think people would jump on board, but then everyone would be grabbing at an opinion on what to do with it.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. But I think Jackson brings up, every good antagonist never thinks that they're the antagonist. He really, you get to see more colors of him in this chapter of him talking to Howard about like, I don't think you understand what you're doing. I know what's happening. And the thing is, we can't have this being out in public because if you do, you're going to create mass panic and suicides. And we can't have this.
Mm-hmm.
But it gets a little dark because this is something that I didn't even know if our government is capable of doing, which is the Pawn Initiative. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Remind me what it is.
The Pawn Initiative, where they're going to basically kill the entire town.
Oh, yeah, destroy the entire town. Well, could they do it back then? Again, I think that it would have been possible to do it. I mean, there are abandoned towns in several places in this country.
Uh-huh.
Why are they abandoned? What happened that, an entire, block of houses no longer has anybody living in them and are overgrown with, weeds and vines and everything from, 30 years ago or more. Like
Yeah.
what? So could it have happened? Yes.
Yeah, it's very creepy.
Mm-hmm.
It's very creepy, and when I read it, I remember thinking, "Oh God, I wonder if there's a record of the government." But then I thought, well, there wouldn't be a record, would there be?
Well, there would be a record, but it would have all that black ink,
Yeah.
all the redacted.
Have you seen records like that?
Have you seen the ones that they released on like Area 51 and stuff?
No.
Oh yeah. Look those up. Like they, I don't know however many years ago it was. It was when Trump was in office. They released all these old documents, and anything important on them has black marker over it. You can't.
That's so funny. Let me cover this up. Somebody get me a Sharpie.
That's pretty much what it is. Yes. That's pretty much what it is. It's just anything important has the black line through it.
Yeah. No, that is crazy. But I almost like wondered for a second when Thomas was going around just erasing all of Captain Roland's stuff. I was like, oh, this is how nobody would ever find out any record about what happened. Like if you're in the future looking back in the past, because they're literally destroying evidence of this incident. And it just oh gosh. And that just makes me like that makes me question like what has our government done that's similar to this? Maybe not about aliens, but about an incident with
Right.
that.
Like I said, there are abandoned towns
Mm-hmm.
in several places, and it's why we don't know. It could have been a natural disaster. It could have been, something benign, but probably not.
Do you have any abandoned towns near you?
No. There is, however, over near Richmond, there is a whole complex there that is an abandoned, we'll call it a city,
Okay.
that was designed to look exactly like Richmond. Yeah, it's like this weird thing. They have all the streets and everything all laid out just like Richmond, and it was designed that way for, like, so that they could trick people into believing that they were bombing whatever back in like
Wow.
the 50s. Yeah. So I mean that's probably the closest abandoned thing
That's so
near us.
interesting.
Yeah. It's a weird, it's a weird thing, but it's still there. It's just
Wow.
like, it's in the middle of nowhere. It's I don't know, 30, 40 miles from where Richmond sits in Virginia. Something like that.
Okay.
And like I said, it's just they have all the streets laid out. There's no buildings or anything. But it was it was built there as a decoy essentially.
Wow, that's so fascinating.
Hmm.
Ah, crazy. And I'm trying to also like recall about like especially in the 1950s era of like what kind of technology that they had in terms of documentation that they could have done. Like could anybody in the town have, like I said, we're also used to having the internet and our phones near us and cameras everywhere, but it's like in the 50s it's
People would have had cameras, yes, but
yeah,
would have been few and far between. And it's like the cameras back then, I mean, they're not the same as they are today.
sure.
And I mean, some of them still, like from the very beginning of the book, like you took one picture with the flash and then you had to replace the bulb immediately.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, those were going out of style in the 50s, but people still had those.
Yeah. That's crazy. And then like of course too, tape recorders. Is that a thing that a lot of people like people in
Would
this
not have,
town?
people would not have had a lot of that. I mean, tape recorders, I mean, we're still those little cassette tapes from like the 80s. I mean, we still haven't even had 8-track yet.
Yeah.
So, just, normal people having any sort of like recording devices back then, probably not.
Yeah. Yeah, no, especially yeah. And especially too when like the government agencies were kind of driving by making flyers for like at the town hall meeting
Mm-hmm.
to and that's to call all them to just basically I was like, "Oh my god, are they going to shoot them all out or
Yeah.
like gas them? Like what is this?" It's crazy. But you also had a really great moment where the four of them do fly into the wormholes, and there's like a phenomenon that, and maybe you can explain to me what happened there because basically it kind of cuts while they're going through. You see that a wormhole kind of opens up in DC, and I think it opens up other places. And do they see the plane flying through it? I think I read that correctly, correct?
Yeah, the wormholes that open in various other locations at this point, you kind of get like this shadows, I guess you can say. You can see into them, but nothing. I mean, you're not going to see anything clearly.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's like I said, like shadows almost.
Mm-hmm. That's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Did you have a favorite moment in the chapter, in chapter 4, that you recall?
I do like the car chase.
The car chase.
That is one of my favorite moments, and then it's where everything is coming to a head, right before I guess the climactic moment.
It's the 11 o'clock hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a really fun chapter. And I remember thinking to myself too, when like Diana comes out, like before they break in, to have some time with Rollins. He's like, "What are you doing out here? It's cold." She's like, "Oh yeah, they were making me uncomfortable." And then they see the fog. I'm like, "Are they having sex with her in the back seat? Is that what you wrote?"
Yes, that is exactly what I wrote.
With her like limping leg.
Hmm.
Oh god, that was good. That was funny.
Yes.
I guess they thought they were gonna die. So
Yes. Well, they're going to fly up into a thing.
well,
They
they
don't
didn't think they
understand.
were going. Katrina and Gray didn't think they were going in the airplane.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. But
But they are getting hunted by the government. So
by the government and Russian spies, and yeah.
yeah. So I mean, life in the fast lane right here for them. I don't know. I mean, I'm looking forward to talking about chapter 5, but that's we're not there yet. But it's a really nice cliffhanger where it's like the showdown's about to happen in the town, so you kind of have like Sheriff Howard and his poor wife Wendy, who thinks he's nuts. Poor guy, can't catch a break. And then you have them going into the wormhole, and they survive, or at least Katrina and Rollins are the ones that are evident to have survived going through, and they've made it to the future, which I was pleasantly surprised that we were going to see that world.
We do a very small part of it, I guess you can say.
Yeah. Well, no spoilers.
Yes. We see a very small part of it.
Yeah. And then we see that the government's kind of scrambling of how they're going to cover up all this, and we're about to have the final countdown of the chapter.
And now you owe somebody like $1,000.
Oh, it's only for like 5 seconds. And it wasn't the actual audio. It was me doing it. Okay, great. Pecker shirt.
Yes.
All right. Well, when are you going to Disney World?
Shortly.
Shortly. So maybe in our next episode we could talk about Disney World. I mean, of course, Seila Fire too, but
Yes. Mm-hmm.
give me tips and tricks.
Okay.
All right, cool. Well, James, where can the folks at home find you on the social channels?
Just search up on any of the social media, Dren Productions or drenproductions.com. And that's where I am.
Woo! James, it's always a pleasure chatting with you. I can't wait till we get this is the last chapter next time, correct?
Correct. Unless there's
wait. More. Ooh, look at him teasing that. Well, it's been a pleasure, but for now, this has been the Seila Fire Emergence Podcast, Episode 4, a Talkback podcast for the Seila Fire Emergence. New installments of the novel and the episode of the podcast are available monthly. Check out roguematter.com or download the app, because we have an app on iOS and Android to read the Seila Fire Emergence. Chapter 5 will be available September 14th. Seila Fire Podcast Episode 5 will be available the same day.